Kid versus Law. Not the leader of the next generation, because that's Luffy and then Blackbeard somewhat. Who's third? Right? Who's third? Or maybe second. You know, who's the runner-up? Who you got? Kid or Law? Okay, this is something that a lot of people hold your vote. Hold it. Because a lot of y'all are just, Law. Hold on. Let's talk about it, because I'm gonna just keep it real right now. I don't think y'all are being fair or being as open to Kid as y'all are to Law, because Law is the much cooler character. Why? Well, it's a few things. A few reasons why people prefer Law over Kid. And we'll get into them, then we'll get into who you got in regards to power scaling, go through a few categories, and then we're gonna say, okay, this person is higher, okay? Boom, like that. To break things down, we're gonna use categories. And these are the categories we're gonna use going forward when we compare two characters. And you guys can let me know what you think about the categories, what we should change going forward, categories we should add. We're just gonna have fun with this, okay? So the point is to compare these characters and be as objective as possible. I already went through all these characters' feats, gave them ratings for all these different categories. We're just gonna go through the feats and compare them. Then at the end, who has the most points, that's who technically we should have. And then there who wins. Again, we're gonna try to be as objective as possible. Of course, in the comments, you guys can give me your categories, who you feel should be higher or lower if you disagree with my ratings, because you guys always do. But some of you do agree with me from time to time. So let's get to the categories. Now, the first category we have is actually the subscribe button.
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
Subscribe to the channel. I got y'all again, didn't I? Subscribe to the channel, drop a like, turn on post notifications. Now, really, let's get to the categories. First category, we have physical strength. So first off, we're gonna start with Useless Captain Kid. Kid, his physical strength was pretty apparent in Udon more than anything, right? Where he was basically keeping up with Luffy, carrying those stone blocks basically with one arm while having sea stone cuffs on. We know for a Devil Fruit user, it drains your strength. So for Kid being able to do that, again, with one arm, keeping up with Monkey D. Luffy, who, I mean, he's a physical monster, if we've seen time and time again, that automatically puts his strength for me at a 10 out of 10. But even further, he was able to overwhelm Big Mom time and time again. Even if you go back to chapter 1013 with his punk Gibson, Big Mom is not a small woman, okay? She's the biggest mom for a reason, and Kid was multiple times able to overwhelm her with his strength. So even in a recent chapter where she could not move, of course, that was more so Devil Fruit. We'll get to that, but Kid is physically a monster. So for me, he gets a 10 out of 10. Now, let's get to Law. Physical strength for Law, not his strong suit, but Law is not weak. A lot of people forget back then when he was younger, he was under some very intense training with the Doflamingo family. And back then, as a kid, he could pick up and throw Rocinante. Also, physically, Doflamingo was a monster, but Law was able to keep up with him and block multiple attacks with just his sword. So he's not lacking physically. He's just not as overwhelming as someone like Kid and Luffy. So for Law's physical strength, I actually gave him an 8 out of 10. So for Kid right now, he's 10 out of 10. Law is 8 out of 10. Now, the next category, we have speed. Now, speed is a very interesting one because you have reaction speed, you have straightforward speed, you have attack speed. So we're just going to combine speed because it's really hard to discern what this could mean, especially for someone like Zoro, right? Zoro's attack speed is insane. His straightforward speed is hard to really tell because Zoro's attacks, they're always fast. So speed, we're just going to combine all three. We're just going to combine all these categories into just speed and then discern, okay, how are these characters' speed? This time we'll start with Law. Law's speed, it's really difficult, right? Because for the most part, his speed revolves around the usage of his Devil Fruit, and his Devil Fruit makes his speed pretty much a 10 out of 10 because he can literally teleport. People say, well, that's not speed. That's pretty much how he travels. And for his attack, you do not want to fight Law in the rain because Law can teleport between raindrops. So just off of that, for me, Law's speed is at a 10 out of 10 because he can get from point A to point B rather quickly. Okay, now we get to Eustace Captain Kid, and this is a bit more difficult because Kid's speed is not normally as prominent. You have to really look at different scenarios in which he catches characters off guard, in which he keeps up. I think Kid's specialty is his attack speed. How he basically creeps up on you, right? You don't expect him to be as quick as he is, as fast as he is, but he gets to his targets when he needs to. When he was trying to get to a Pooh, of course in the anime they make it seem like it took a long time, but he was able to actually catch a Pooh off guard even after Pooh saw him. There are other moments where he's able to get Kaido off guard or catch Big Mom off guard, but of course those are group battles and he's using openings to take advantage of, so he somewhat uses openings to his advantage. That's something that he does really well, but speed is really hard to discern for Kid. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but not too much in this category, and say Kid for speed is probably a 7 out of 10. Now, endurance. This is something that people have been confusing in the anime community from the beginning of time. Durability versus endurance. So let's talk about durability. Durability, that's the ability to withstand pressure or damage. Okay, but typically in fights, it's the quality of being able to last a long time without being damaged. I think a lot of times what we refer to is endurance, which is the fact or power of enduring an unpleasant or difficult situation without giving way. So we're going to focus on endurance here. Again, the fact or the power of enduring a difficult or unpleasant situation without giving way. In One Piece chapter 1039, Law was enduring Big Mom's attacks because he was in that situation very unpleasant, and he didn't give way because he wanted to accomplish his goal by going even deeper without context. That is wild, but that's what he did. But yeah, endurance. We'll start with Kid on this one. I would say 10 out of 10. Reason? Kid has been in a very difficult and unpleasant situation in Onigashima in Wano for quite a while, and he's not given way for the most part. At the beginning of chapter 1038, it seemed like he was down, but he got up and was able to get some hits in on Big Mom. But we have to also remember Kid, what he experienced versus Big Mom is that Hawkins was actually attacking him in the middle of the battle. So Kid got beat up a bit more than Law, and he had been fighting on the rooftop, of course Law as well, and he hasn't taken a break. He's been enduring this entire time. So Kid's endurance, in my opinion, is a perfect 10 out of 10. Being able to fight against the Yonko, take all that damage from Hawkins, that is next level. That is some of the best we've seen in the series, of course, up there with the likes of the greats like Whitebeard and those goats. That is beyond 10 out of 10. So, but Kid for me, 10 out of 10 in regards to endurance. Law has gotten a lot more credit because he's able to withstand unpleasant situations a lot. He went through a lot of that in Dressrosa. He was missing an arm. Still, he was able to save Luffy, contest Doflamingo, keep a room open without Doflamingo noticing. He was able to withstand all this. Again, enduring all these difficult and unpleasant situations is something Law regularly does because, of course, his Devil Fruit, based on what we know, drains some stamina. So he's able to endure even that. So Law, in regards to endurance, I would put Kid slightly higher, but Law's is pretty good as well. So I'm going to put Law at a 9 out of 10. Next, we have strategy. So we're going to start with Law on this one. Law is the mastermind in One Piece, one of the best strategists that we've seen in the story because everything seems to be calculated. One, something that people forget is Law took 2 months off before going into New World as a strat to somewhat rest up and be a bit more cautious. He didn't just jump into the New World. He took some time before going there. Also, to be able to move around like he wanted to, he did his thing at Rocky Port, became a warlord so he could avoid detection and do whatever he wanted to do. Again, another strat. We can't forget about in Punk Hazard, even before anything went wrong, he swapped out the Sea Stone chains for the regular chains just in case something would go wrong. And of course, that came to fruition and he was able to get out of it because he did those tactical measures early in advance. That is just who he is. It's part of his personality. 10 out of 10, clean. And we can go deeper into his strategy to destroy SAD, use Doflamingo against Kaido, all this different stuff, but it's already 10 out of 10. We're good. Kid, it's a bit more difficult because Kid, initially we thought it was just more metal, go bang bang boom pow. Kid has proven me wrong. He's added more strategy to his battles. I think Kid is a better strategist than people think because every opening that Law gave, of course, in some moments he was giving actual instructions on what to do. You know, Kid was saying don't tell him what to do. Kid was taking advantage of every opening, which is part of his strategy. I think the strat that sold me was his assign using the bull as well, because someone like Big Mom was in a quandary to the point that she had to completely pick up this tower and turn around to avoid it. He put her in a situation where she had to completely change, and that is difficult in battle. Now, outside of that, it doesn't seem to be too much strategy involved because Kid did go and lose his arm to Shanks, went into Big Mom's territory, did take what he wanted, but he seems to be very straightforward, just like Luffy, just not as lucky. He's lucky himself because he could be dead. Shanks could have killed him, but he didn't die, so he's lucky himself, just not as lucky and as straightforward as Luffy. So in regards to strategy, I give him some credit, not nearly as much as Law. So for Kid, we're gonna give him a 7 out of 10. 10. For hockey, I'm just going to say it here. For kid and law, I'm going to give both right now. Both 5 out of 10 because for the most part, we don't have many hockey feats from either of them. For law, we know why with his devil fruit. And for kid, that's kind of the same reason. You would assume with kid being a more physical fighter than law, hockey would be a bit more involved. But based on how things have been going on in Onigashima so far, hockey has not been as prominent. So I'm going to give both a 5 out of 10 for hockey. It's not a huge part of their fighting style. Of course, for law, we could give him the side edge because he was able to overwhelm Virgo. So hockey probably was involved somewhat. It's just really hard. So both 5 out of 10. Now, the final slot, devil fruit / devil fruit mastery. Devil fruit, of course, we give it to law. Law has the better devil fruit, but who uses their devil fruit better? I think for law, you have to give it a 10 out of 10 just because of how he's mastered the fruit. First, the process to mastering the fruit is you have to go and basically become a doctor, right? And law's techniques, law's bag is deep, right? It is deeper than he went in Big Mom. He has a deep bag to the point that in any scenario, he has something for it. For kid, it's deeper than I thought, but not that deep. Okay, I mean, the railgun is amazing, right? The creation of the railgun bumped him up so many notches, in my opinion, because, and even from pre-time skip to post-time skip, he's become a lot more adept at constructing actual things that can aid whatever situation he's in. So as much as we want to make fun of him creating a bull, it hurt Big Mom to the point that it broke her arm. Okay, and of course the railgun, again, beautiful. Just a masterpiece to construct. Kid did that. So of course law gets a 10 out of 10 in regards to devil fruit, and for kid he gets an 8 out of 10. Okay, so now with all that being said, what were the total numbers for kid and law? Just to recap: physical strength, kid 10 out of 10, law 7 out of 10. Speed, kid 7 out of 10, law 10 out of 10. Endurance, kid 10 out of 10, law 9 out of 10. Strategy, kid 7 out of 10, law 10 out of 10. Hockey, kid 5 out of 10, law 5 out of 10. And devil fruit, kid 8 out of 10, and law 10 out of 10. So with that, it gives kid 47 out of 60 points, and for law, it gives him 51 out of 60 points. So that's the separation. Kid's a 47 out of 60. Law is a 51 out of 60. So that puts kid at about, what, 78% and law at about 85%. That was a lot of fun. Guys, give me your thoughts. Which side do you lean? What are your categories? Do you agree with the values? Give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Again, put them below. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at B.D.A. Even leave below other characters we should compare, and we can go through the same way. Again, leave your comments below. Make sure to like the video if you did. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, guys, be sure to like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.